to win it. No need to boo your team then. Just applaud them off.
OK, in the last 2 seasons, they've snatched defeat from the jaws of victory as far as the Champions League is concerned. But leave off booing him.
Oh, don't boo him. Listen, if they want to boo, they boo. I mean, personally, I've never been a booer at football. It's a bit weird, but if they want to boo, then that's absolutely fine by me. Because you know what they do? Fans, they pay a lot of money. And if they're not happy with something, they need to let the manager know. The manager can do what he wants. He can say, I'll ignore him. We just heard Brendan Rodgers there. That was Brendan Rodgers talking to our own Adrian Clark after the game at the weekend. Adrian put the question to him about the fans booing him, and he said, well, it's taken a long time to get my first boo, and he kind of had a little joke about it. Fine. What they were booing was Ademola Lookman was playing really well for Leicester, and Brendan Rodgers took him off, brought on James Maddison, who hasn't really been performing in quite a while now, and they obviously disagreed with that substitution, so they wanted to let the manager know what's wrong with that. It's not going to change his mind, but they just wanted to let him know that's not the substitution they wanted to see. And you know what? Leicester didn't go on to win the game, so maybe the fans were right.
Yeah, well, they have an opinion. The fans are a thing, but we always do. We all, as football fans, always question the manager, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's in that role because you'd like to think he knows more than anybody else. That's why he's the manager of a Premier League side. They've also won some trophies since he's been there. He won plenty at Celtic. And he's got a decision to make. On the Maddison thing, he dropped him for the game anyway and said, but he's not up to scratch yet, not to where we would expect of him, but he's a talented footballer and I expect him to come back into that side. But you still look at it, that team, and you think it should be good enough to beat Burnley at home. And they didn't. Now, defensively, you could argue, but obviously Fofana is going to be out for a while. We know that. We've seen the injury. He was a big player for them. Huge player, right? And they're missing him. And Johnny Evans, you would have to say he's their best centre-half. I know Leicester fans had this obsession by Soyuncu, who were better than Maguire, right? But Johnny Evans is the heartbeat of their defence.
Yep.
Let's be straight about it. So they've got those two that have been missing. I know Johnny Evans, I think, were on the bench, wasn't he?
Well, he played in the Cup last week, but
yeah,
he's
so
too soon for him,
there's still players to come back for them. But let's be realistic, Leicester fans. Where do you think you should be? Yes, you want to push for top 4. Of course you do. And you've pushed the last couple of seasons. But realistically, you're pushing for 6th, aren't you? Realistically.
I would say so, yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
Right?
It would be a big achievement to break that top 4,
yes,
given the strength of the top 4 right now. I look at it and I think, yes, I understand fans have the right to boo. Totally get that. But let's keep it in context here. I've just had a tweet from Tom who says, they booed his choice of sub. That's all. Lookman was our best player. And I defend the fans' right to boo a decision. If that's the way they want to register their disappointment in that decision, that's fine. But Brendan Rodgers has just won you the FA Cup. And as Leicester fans, let's just step back and look at Leicester fans. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. The last decade or so for Leicester fans has been beyond your wildest dreams. You're in League One, you get promoted from that. You're in the Championship, you get promoted from that. You get yourselves to semi-finals, League Cup. Okay, didn't make it. FA Cup final. You go and win the thing. You win it against Chelsea. And by the way, I've forgotten you won the title in the season of a lifetime that no other fans ever have, ever, supporting a club of your kind of size from a provincial area like that. And all of a sudden, you just forget all the glory of the last 10, 12 years or so, all the successes, all the victories, trophy lifting, Champions League, Europa League.
Over a substitution.
You decide, I'm not happy that our FA Cup winning manager has made that substitution. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to boo. I'm going to boo with the same passion I cheered when we won the league. I mean, have a look at yourselves, please. And again, let me make it clear. I defend the right for fans to have an opinion and express that opinion. But in this situation, I think Leicester fans, what they should do, if they get beat 6-0 at home by Burnley, do you know what they should do? They should applaud at the end of the game and say, do you know what, we've had it great for the last dozen or so years. We can't complain at anything.
We won the lottery. Can't believe what's happened with these owners we've had.
Mate, and also have a look at Jamie Vardy, right? They pick him up for £1 million.
They're having a party.
He turns into, the player he's turned into, plays at a Euros, plays at a World Cup, wins them the title. And not only that, he stays. He decides to commit himself to your football club. For that alone, you should be grateful. I don't think I'm at Leicester in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the mood is and how reactions go during the game. Okay, because I was astonished to hear that there was booing at the weekend. Leicester fans, have you completely forgotten the 10, 12 years you have just had? Because I think that that's unfair to boo a manager for a substitution. I think it's unfair, don't you?
Yep, absolutely. And it's not a substitution like I get, but he was their best player. That's what they thought by watching the game. But perhaps he thought he needed to do something to get his club back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the idea.
And they could have lost it in the end.
Yeah, could have lost it in the end. And it happened. They got a point. Yes, I can understand the fans being disappointed when you play against Burnley, who are a committed side. They're organised team. They can upset other clubs, you know what I mean, and get results. They're not somebody who are walkovers, are they? They can get a result. And they made it hard for Leicester. They made it really, really hard for them. But at the end of it, you'll be looking at it and thinking, we want to win the title, because that's what they're thinking. We've got to beat Burnley. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as that.
Let me throw in something else for you, because I did a little bit of digging here. Now, you can't always read too much into social media, but I searched the hashtag Rodgers out. Okay, and there's quite a few tweets came up. No,
I'm not having that.
And also, I was thinking, these will be jokey ones, or idiots on Twitter. And reading through, there was some proper Leicester fans. You look at their profiles and everything. Proper Leicester fans saying, "Well, listen, if we lose the weekend, that's it. I will be Rodgers out," or having a go at Wilfred Ndidi, or the squad rebuilding, or loads of things they're having a go at. Just some perspective. Have Leicester fans lost their way because they've been spoiled for the last 10 years or so? Is that what's happened here? And if you want to come on and confess, do you know what, I booed him and I'm really sorry, because he's won us the first FA Cup in your history. And he won it, a few months ago against the Chelsea side, who have spent a fortune and should be beating you.
Well, I think Brendan Rodgers, has gone there, you've got to be impressed by the job he's done, right? Disappointment by slipping out of the top four, I get it, but be realistic also. There's some good teams up there, and if they're going to keep battling, and I think when they're all back, again, their players, Fofana and Evans are big players for them. They've got Vestergaard and Bertrand in there, 2 new players. That's going to take time. Questioning Ndidi, only last year we were talking about Tielemans and Ndidi being one of the best pairs in that position, weren't we?
But we've been talking about this before, and when you mentioned before about how some Leicester fans were openly saying Soyuncu's better than Maguire, they didn't rate Chilwell when he went. There's all that sort of stuff going on.
Now they're questioning Ndidi.
They do this though, don't they? And they by saying, well, Soyuncu's better than Maguire, you're putting a high target on where Soyuncu is, and he isn't that player. He's not that good. So you're thinking he is that good, and the manager isn't getting the best out of him. So you blame the manager. Ends up the manager gets booed. 08717 223344 is the number to call. We'll read some Spurs tweets in a few moments as well. It's Drive on talkSPORT with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Join over 2 million happy customers by entering your reg number now.